Interviews. Interviews can be one-on-one with individual or with desired group of people. Interviews can be conducted to take personal opinions, expert judgments from people who have expertise in particular field or subject. Interviews can be confidential or open depending on privacy of content or the situation. They can be conducted via email or phone or using virtual collaboration. The next one is focus groups. If you want to do open discussions about new product or market analysis of any element involved in your project or analysis of any situation or topic, focus groups can be helpful. It is generally a small group of people carrying out discussions, but size of group may depend on topic of discussions, size of project and related stakeholders of the project involved or linked to that particular discussion, etc. Focus groups are demographically diverse groups. Demographically diverse means different type of people in particular population. It relates to people of different disciplines or occupations and also to people of different age groups. Let's see an example of focus groups here. If you want to launch a new phone in the market, you will need advice from various fields like rules and regulations regarding telecom industry and government. So legal advisor will be needed. Market situations, ongoing trends in market, what people are liking, their purchase powers, what age groups are more buying products and many more analysis. So for that market specialist will be involved. Similarly, for procurement related strategies, you will involve procurement specialist or procurement advisor. Moderator can also be involved in focus groups if necessary, so that agenda of meeting or discussion should not go off topic. Benchmarking. Basically, it is a technique used to compare things with others to judge or enhance our performance, or we can say standard point or limit against which we can compare things. For example, other organization is becoming very successful by following certain procedures, SOP, that is standard operating procedures. So you also decide to do the same and follow similar procedures. This is benchmarking. This benchmarking process has two main disadvantages. First, it limits creativity as people start comparing what others have done. Second, this process leads to increase in time and cost. Voting. Unanimity, where everyone agrees to a single course of action. You can see in the picture, majority, more than 50% of the stakeholders agrees. And plurality, largest block in the group decides. Now the main difference between majority and plurality is plurality need not to be more than 50%, and there is one voting type where autocratic leader or one person decides everything. Multi-criteria decision analysis. This is the common tool used in various project management processes. Here, name itself tells it all. Multiple criteria or factors are considered while doing analysis of a particular thing or requirement. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to release a new phone in the market. You have several different models of phones available right now, but you want to choose the best in current scenario. So you do market analysis and focus on criteria like purchasing power of people, age group, and their respective demands and trends like storage space, camera, looks, etc. After doing market analysis, you decide to give certain weightage percentage or weightage factors to every criteria according to the importance and data gathered from market survey or analysis. Summing all the percentage gained, the mobile with highest percentage score will be selected to launch in the market. Like this multi-criteria decision analysis is used to select the best possible alternatives. Nominal group technique. Let's keep it simple and get understand simple steps involved in it. First, issue is presented to the team members. All members write down their ideas. Ideas are shared and discussed. Ideas are ranked and then decision is taken. It is as simple as that. Next tool is observation. As the name suggests, we observe other people and how they are doing a particular task and learn from their experience. Job shadowing is similar to observation, but it includes doing or executing the same work that the other person is doing or the person we are observing. For example, management trainees. Management trainees are told to work under particular manager and are trained to do the same work. In short, they are trained to become next managers like that. I have already made a video on user story, so do check that out. So let's move ahead. Prototypes. It's a general term, everyone probably know about it. These are small scale models of a big project. Prototype model is a model presented to stakeholders for feedback. It can be updated multiple times to incorporate stakeholders' feedback until the requirements have been solidified for the product. Context diagram or context level data flow diagrams, or sometimes it is called level 0 data flow diagram. Before we check out how a context diagram look like, let's take a real life example. Let me give you example from my experience from construction industry. uh, Construction drawings, schedule and formats of documents, etc., are prepared in planning stage by planning department. Later in execution, when we actually execute the work, actual data can vary, and in most cases it varies to some extent. Change is inevitable, we all know. So actual site scenario and data recorded is sent back to planning department, and according to the new plans, drawings, etc., are prepared. Here we have seen how data is flowing back and forth. In similar way, context diagrams are used to show flow of information so that it becomes easy to define what we need and get clearer picture of what exactly happening. Let's understand with the example of a Uber cab service. When you want to book a cab, you give your primary information to the app or Uber system, we can say, like your location, contact number, etc. Uber system then analyzes your data, finds the nearest available driver in your location, and your data is sent to him. The driver accepts the request and confirms it. Driver's data like cab number, contact number, location, etc. goes back to system then sends this data to you on your smartphone devices. So this can be represented by the context diagram like this. It gives the clarity of data, what is needed, how it is flowing, from which stages it is going. These context diagrams are used in many project management processes. That was all about context diagrams. Coming to the outputs of collect requirements process. First one is requirement documentation. It is simple text format written in details. It is modified according to the categories. Examples of requirement documents can be quality requirements, government permits, etc. Second output is requirement traceability matrix. Have you ever worked on a project in which some requirements got lost in the details? In the process of determining requirements, one requirement often leads to additional, more refined requirements and clarifications. Especially on large projects, it can be difficult to remember where the requirement came from and what its significance is to the project. Losing focus on the reason of requirement can result in major strategic or project objectives not being met. Here, this matrix helps to link requirements to objectives or requirements to other requirements, and this helps to ensure the strategic goals are accomplished. This matrix is used throughout the project to analyze any change in a project scope. This picture I have taken right from the PMBOK 6th edition. As you can see, you can mention your project details like name, description, department to make it clear from where the requirements are. Coming to the subdivisions of requirements, it depends on the individual. It varies project to project that in which depth to what details we want to record our requirements. This categorization can be description in details, who is assigned to manage requirements, status of requirements, business goals and needs which are discussed by top management and clients and related stakeholders. This can include points mentioned in business case also. Next comes WBS. To identify in which work category or in which WBS the requirements lies, WBS details can be mentioned and other details can also be mentioned and altered. So that was all about requirement traceability matrix.